Hello and welcome to the One Life Church devotional series where we cover the entire Bible in 20 months. Well, today's chapters are Galatians chapter 2 and Psalm 7. I'm going to introduce you to a young man today. His name is Luke. He's part of our Cape Town site here. And in occasion from now on, he's going to be asking questions of the devotion that we are giving. I thought it was a great addition to how we working through the Bible, make it more conversational. So his name is Luke. And Luke's asked me a couple of questions on these chapters we're dealing with today. The first one is that of Peter. Galatians 2 is Paul dealing with this heresy that's come against the church, that you need to become Jewish. You've got to take on the Jewish customs, get circumcised, stop eating pigs, sleeping on a Saturday. And Paul's dealing with that heresy, and he has to confront Peter because Peter is one of those who's been duped by this heresy. And so this young guy, Luke, asked me the question, why is Peter given so many names in the Bible? Well, that's not an unusual thing, really. I've got a daughter who goes by the name Kate. Some people call her Katie. I know other people who are called Kate, whose real name is Catherine, who's sometimes called Kathy. So one name in English can call you Kate, Katie, Kathy, Catherine. The same was for Simon. Simon, or Simeon even, was the son of a guy called John, who also is called Jonah. So sometimes you'll find him in the Bible, Simon, son of John. Anyway, one day in John chapter 1, verse 42, Jesus catches Peter and he says to him, Peter, today, Simon, son of John, I'm going to call you Cephas. He was speaking Aramaic, and Cephas in Aramaic means rock. He says, I'm going to call you that to remind you of the revelation that you've just given me. Peter had just said, Jesus is the Son of God. And Jesus says, that is the rock, that revelation. Jesus is the Son of God. That is the rock that I'm going to build my church on. And so I'm going to call you Peter so that you never ever forget that. Never forget that the revelation that you have now, that I am the Son of God, is the rock that the church is going to be built on. And so he was called Cephas. But now, Cephas is in Aramaic. When you translate it into the Greek, and remember the New Testament is written mostly in Greek, it's called Petros or Peter. And so in most places he's called Peter in the New Testament, except when Paul refers to him. Paul always refers to him as Cephas, revealing his Jewishness, his understanding of the nickname that Jesus gave him, except when he is quoting other people. And in this particular chapter he quotes the Council of Jerusalem saying, Peter is going to go to the Jews, I am going to go to the Gentiles. But then when he has to deal with Peter personally, he calls him his personal name again. So he in verse 9, he says, he calls him Cephas. And then verse 11, he says, when this guy that Jesus named the rock on the revelation that Jesus was the Son of God, he says, when he came to Antioch, I opposed him to his face because he stood condemned. He used to eat with us. Remember, God gave Peter this revelation when that blanket came down from heaven with all sorts of food in it, that you're not justified by what you eat and the Sabbaths that you celebrate and your circumcision. No. It's by faith in Jesus. Let's quickly go to Psalm 6. Luke had a question for us there too. Who's this guy? Cush. Now, Cush was a part of the family of Saul. And this whole lament is David saying, God, deliver me from Cush, the Benjamite. Now, David was clearly on the run here. He's run many times, once from Absalom, from the Philistines, and from his king, Saul. And so we think that Cush was maybe the henchman, the enforcer of Saul. There's another guy called Cush in the Bible, but that's hundreds of years before. Nothing else is mentioned of him. But the reality, what's going on here, is that David is on the run, and he's saying, listen, if I am done wrong, then God punish me. But if not, please deal with this enemy of mine. And he ends with these little parables. That's why I'm sitting here on the beach. He says that, if someone digs a hole in the ground and scoops it out, you'll fall into the pit that he's made. I remember when I was a kid, I used to play on the beach like this, and how many times I fell into the hole that I made. He's basically also says, if you throw something in the sky, it'll come down on your head. He's basically saying, Lord, this evil that they're plotting against me, please use it to deal with him. And so this chapter is basically an encouragement of us saying, God, search me, but I'm asking you to deal with my enemies. That's what that psalm is about.